My first love wasn't a romance, but an intense, unexplainable bond with my best friend, ending in a painful cycle of reunion and heartbreak. Anyone still think about that first special connection? Hear my story of the one who got away. I'm currently 24, and I still sometimes think about the days I was 16 and had something special going. She was my best friend, my number two. She wasn't the most attractive conventionally, but the connection we had made me think she was the most beautiful. We never did date or even do anything too sensual, but there were plenty of memories, like when she drank for the first time and she went outside just wanting to get away, and I idiotically followed her, even gave her my coat as it was cold outside. Or we sat in the pouring rain on a rooftop. One of my personal favorites was when I held her as she stood on my skateboard and I walked her through town, teaching her how to ride, then stopping at a coffee shop where we talked forever. She was a bit of a writer, and on a few occasions, she'd write about me and how she viewed me or our friendship. For the life of me, I can't remember what they said or even a rough idea of what they used to say, but I do remember how important they made me feel. We were both just two shy idiots who valued each other like no one else. We had very similar music tastes, but also enough of a difference to introduce each other to new songs that we'd enjoy. For a few weeks, I used to come over and we'd sit in her mom's car, just listening to music, vaping, and on a few occasions wrestling. I'd let her win, obviously, and it wasn't even in a sexual manner. I just used to admire how she looked and the way she looked at me. One night I gave her something of a space lesson as we laid in the grass just looking up at the sky. I remember once she pointed out Orion's belt, which I previously showed her, and the Big Dipper, and I asked, "Are those the only constellations you know?" in a teasing manner, and she laughed in a very sarcastic, "No." I laugh as I recall this memory. Whatever connection we had was intense. After a cookout with friends, I had to head home and she was going to stay back with some of her other friends, and she decided to walk halfway back to my place so I didn't have to venture completely alone. I remember when she stopped, I kinda just looked at her and we went for a hug. And I remember as we held each other, it felt like the world stopped, like my thoughts went silent. In that moment, it felt like we were the only two people in the universe. I remember getting home and it felt like someone had told me some amazing news or that I had won $1 million or something. I remember thinking, why do I feel so good, so happy? It took me a bit to realize it was the dopamine rush I had from our physical connection. We used to talk about anything and everything for long as we could, both in person, over texts, and over the phone. I remember one time we kinda ran out of things to talk about, and I mentioned something along the lines of us drifting or something. At some point, I had apologized for scaring her and that I'm not going anywhere. I still remember reading the message. I tried not letting it get to me, but I'm sensitive. I was such an idiot. I had hurt her a few times out of my own self, destructive behaviors, and eventually I hurt her, and she went numb to me. It wasn't till then I realized how much I felt I needed her, but it was too late, and she was done. After a year of being the most depressed I had ever been over her, she came back. She came to get me just like how she used to. Apparently, she missed me after needing time away from me. Things felt so different, and I didn't like it. In my mind, I was ready to pick up exactly where we left off, but she was so different. New friends, new habits, new thoughts. We tried for months, but things were just too different, and it felt like we were trying for something that simply wasn't gonna happen. We were toxic to each other. I remember how much things hurt and how I tried to look past so much. She also had to put up with all the emotional pain I was giving her. After waiting for so long, we parted ways. She admitted to pushing me away eventually. She came back against after about a year. As much I was moving on and missed her, I felt I was okay. Though apparently a good portion of the time she still thought about me and how she hurt me, that she'd still write to me or even pretend she venting to me. She talked about how it felt like I was the only person in the world who used to listen and truly care about her. In her notebook, she had notes that were addressed to me about how she missed what we had and that she felt horrible for what happened. Me to understand her side of the story. I remember for the first time in forever, it felt like we were ready to pick up where we left off. As history repeats itself, things didn't work out. She was distant, but at the same time talked about being there. I seen her maybe once in that third attempt, as it was all texting. Things officially ended between us when she chose another man. I remember morning her socials popped up on my feed, and there was a picture of her and some dude with a caption I can't remember and don't want to remember. It sucked, and I remember calling her out on how she couldn't even give me the decency of letting me know there's someone else. Truly, I still don't know why she pulled and pushed me so much or why I put up with it. Maybe it was that I constantly believed we could still have the connection we had from the start. Never in my life have I had something so intricate, so delicate but painful, so meaningful. I've dated, had sex, had short crushes since. Nothing has ever been that close to what we had. That hug is still by far the best, most sensual physical sensation I ever felt from someone, and this is coming from someone who's had sex quite a few times with quite a few women. Lord knows I don't miss her in particular, but I do miss that connection. I miss what we had. I miss being young and in love. Sometimes I still feel like that 16-year-old kid looking for his best friend, only to wake up as a 24-year-old adult in this stressful world of hell without anyone special. I do ponder what it would be like if we worked out or if I didn't ruin things the first time, but after trying again and again, it gives me peace of mind that it was probably only a matter of time.